All right, last video in our series for AIOps. Let's talk about automation now. So we have collected a lot of data. We have looked into how we can reduce the noise in that data just to surface relevant data, right? We have detected memory issues in our stream of data that are coming from our OpenTelemetry demo and our Kubernetes cluster. We have identified a root cause for an issue with a specific product in that web store. That's the OpenTelemetry demo. And now I'm going to show you how to close the loop, right? Uh, okay, you have detected that this system or a part of the system is behaving differently than the normal, right? We can act on that anomaly. So that anomaly can trigger something, and that's the automation part. So Elastic has a couple interesting things to help on that task. Let's do that. So you'll see that under stack management, right here, you will have alerts and insights. And then you have rules and connectors. So the rules are um, basically checking um, for either anomalies or thresholds. When you create rule, you have this wizard in here. By the way, this historically uh, was done by watchers, and you actually have this in here, right? That's the legacy way of doing this, and now it's much simpler. But you can still use a watcher. So we have categories in here like APM and user experience. The anomalies triggered by APM services. You have log threshold when you have too many logs. That's basically a count. And you have anomaly detection alert on any type of job. So remember that we have created a custom job. We can alert on that. Let's actually start with that. The job, and then you can select. You have the predefined jobs in there. The APM will be in there. Both APM jobs are in there. Checkout payments is our job. I want individual anomalies. So every time I get um, an alert in there, and I'll set that threshold really low actually to receive everything. You can just, again, the anomalies are scored from 0 to 100. Um, I'll just put that severity to 0. Like I want every alert, and then I have a couple options in here. In Elastic Cloud, I have already the email configured in there. If you're running this on premise, you need to point that to an SMTP server actually. And I have the webhook. So I have had customers that, for instance, have Telegram and WhatsApp bots that will just receive anomalies in there, and then you'll be notified in a Telegram group or a chat group, basically. That can also be uh, achieved with PagerDuty, Slack, right? Even Microsoft Teams. Let's select email, right? Elastic Cloud SMTP, that's the internal SMTP server. Run when anomaly scored match the condition. and run when it recovered. Um, put my email on there. It's you. Um, out. And then we can customize the message in there. Um, See, I'm not get into a lot of details in there, but you have a couple fields. Let's wait for the anomaly to arrive, and then we can go back here and review that. When the anomaly stopped being an anomaly, I could also create another uh, recovery. So I can actually add a different action, email, when that was recovered, saying checkout payments alert, checkout payments back to normal. Oh, good. Let me put an emoji. Uh, Emojipedia. Let's get a check mark in there. Check. That's good enough. Oh, good. Check mark. Uh, oh, come on. So checkout payments. What was the name? Checkout payments alert. So checkout payments recovered. Checkout payments normal. Not particularly creative today. Elastic.io. All right, it's going to send me then. Yeah, recovered. And then say, what am I missing in here? Oh, the name. Checkout payments. Anomaly alert. It will check on every minute. Save. Good. Let's create another rule for APM anomalies. This time, APM anomalies again. Severity. Yeah, warning above. I just want to receive a lot of things just to test. Uh, APM. So this is going to alert on, and then you can select services. So since this is a specific alert for APM, I can select the services. For instance, if I don't care about load generator, I'll just leave that out. Type of transactions, just have request in here. In the environment, production or not defined. I have both. I just leave it all. Run end, threshold met, and recovered. Again, I can add several actions. So email is just one action. I can just add another email for recovered, or Slack, Webhook. I can index documents. I have several actions there. Just use email. So I'll just let this run. So we have APM. We have our custom machine learning. Maybe metrics too. Why not? Metrics, inventory, right? Inventory. And CPU usage. I can check memory usage, log rate. Is above. So that's not. Yeah, that's actually a threshold based, right? Not anomaly in there. I just want to be notified when CPU is above 75%. It is never 75%. And that's good because we have a preview in there. It's never more than 75%, for instance. But that's no machine learning. There's no machine learning involved in here, right? But still, hard-coded, 75% CPU. Email, right? Same thing. I'm not even going to create this. Anomaly on. Where is it? Machine learning anomaly detection alert. We have actually selected job for metrics, you see, memory usage for hosts, memory usage for Kubernetes actually, because we are separating by container, I guess. What are the most unusual entities in a time range? It's interesting if we are doing unusual IP addresses accessing a system, for instance. If you have IP addresses that are that users are using to connect to your system, and you want to have unusual machines. I've seen lots of combinations of those factors. So machines that are usually not accessing your system, and then you have a connection from a machine there. Yeah. Memory usage, Kubernetes anomaly on memory usage, Kubernetes. Every minute it will email me. Yeah. Oh. Actually, I put this Kubernetes memory usage alert. Save. We have plenty of stuff to verify how the alerts work. So the checkout payments, if that doesn't trigger, I'm going to do, let's see if this is triggering actually. Last response, okay, 5 executions because it's every 1 minute. I didn't get any alert at the moment, right? History. Success 6. Alert 0. Yeah. Yeah. No alerts still. And we have the duration as well. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take down the checkout payments in order to force that service to process less payments, which is, let's go back to our machine learning. In here, Anomaly Explorer, and then I'll see the checkout payments in there. I've had an anomaly a couple hours ago, actually in the middle of the night. It was not a very significant one, but that's the last one, 2 times lower. So yeah, let me take a look at the series actually. So we go here and view series. Yeah, that's actually the new normal now, right? So we had like 140 payments on average, let's say, right? So between 160 and 113, and it looks like, and our threshold will eventually be adjusted, because we don't need to do anything, this threshold is going to eventually catch up with the new normal, because I'm getting a few anomalies in there that are, in the overall, they are still so that time series is still under the threshold normally, and it's an anomaly, but it's not a very significant one, right? The score is less than 1. I got 83 and the lower bound is 98 for that specific time. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this even lower for a couple minutes by just taking down the checkout service. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm actually deleting the pod over and over and sleeping 1 second. That's probably too much. It will be probably not processing any payments at all, because it's just sleep 1 second. It's just too fast. I'll just sleep for 10 seconds, let the pod leave again, so it keeps it here again. Let's see. Yeah, checkout service. So yeah, it processes. Yeah, it takes a while to start processing again, right? Hmm. Yeah, I'll just let it sleep for like 10 seconds. I'll just let this run for 5 minutes. Yeah, so we have successfully downgraded that service. And I did that 2 times actually. I waited until it got back to normal and triggered it again. It was it came actually to 0 at some point, and now it's back on the normal threshold, right? And we're going to check the alerts in there. Managed to, well, have 2 alerts actually. 21 times lower and an unexpected 0 value. Even if you're not uh, monitoring for service degradation of some sort, might get a service disruption. That's completely right. Unexpected 0 value. So this should never be 0. We got 0. Okay. So this is what we have in that machine learning job for anomalies. And the rules, if you go alerts and insights, rules and connectors, we have our 3 rules in there. And the check payments anomalies, you'll see that the history, we got two alerts, one recovered. We got two errors actually, because I forgot to add my email to the whitelist, and that's something you do. And at your deployment in cloud.elastic.co, you go to whitelist. Whitelist. You have to whitelist your email, otherwise the mails will not be delivered. I'll see if I can catch the. Oh, that's right there. The error that I got. And you have a very detailed in here. So access. So the access denied was rejected. You just whitelist and you get the mails. The email. See if I can show it in here. This is what you get, right? Check out payments anomaly alert. It's like the body of the alert, and then you have this link to the Anomaly Explorer. You have the typical, the actual. Those are all templated values in there. Opening Anomaly Explorer will obviously bring you to like a global view of with a timeline. This one. Then you click the anomalies, and those are probably the recoveries. Yeah, actual same as typical, so it's back, right? And then the bad ones, unexpected 0, more than 100 times lower, this type of stuff. So it will allow you to act on this depending on your use case. Obviously, you might, I don't know, if you're getting service degradation because of memory, you might, I don't know, add more resources, scale your resources up automatically. That can be as complex as you want it to be. Let's check back the rule, and we added this in here. So you check the body of the email. So the actual score that might be or might not be relevant to you, the message, top influencers, and you have the opening Anomaly Explorer, right? Kibana base URL, and then you have the context Anomaly Explorer in there. Okay, that wraps it up actually, and yeah, we have done quite a lot. Hope you try to reproduce that by yourself. And yeah, see you in the next video series. Bye bye.